Good afternoon. We are going to make a little trip here. My granddaughter, who's going to be a senior at Northern Arizona University and is working for the state of California in Point Lobo State Park, which is here just south of Monterey, just a little south of Carmel. And she went, as this was her first day of summer, first day of work, might be the first day of summer too, getting close. So what we have here is her father a couple of weeks ago. They live in Houston when she's not at school, and the Skagway White Pass Railroad, they took a little trip on that, but they first got on in Seattle on a ship that went on the inland waterways to Skagway. And Skagway is where the Stampeders, when they had the Gold Rush, 1890, I don't know, the 1890s, they had that, maybe 1898 is when they had the Gold Rush there, and the people they could come in and go in the Yukon River up here, but that was expensive on a steamboat, paddle wheeler, and they could get in that way, but that was more expensive. But they would go up to Skagway. They could get there probably on a back then probably had to get on a boat even to get to Skagway, but it would be way down here. See, 836 nautical miles from Seattle to there, and that's what we're going to fly today. We're going to go to from Tacoma Airport, Seattle Tacoma International Airport, just south of Seattle, and fly this scramjet up to Skagway. Probably the runway's a little too short for it, but we'll see. It says there at Skagway is 3,500. I think we need at least 5,000 feet. But you know it's a simulator, so if you run off the end of the runway a little bit, so what? We got to see what the terrain looks like. The west coast of U.S., west coast of Canada, Vancouver. We'll see Vancouver and just see some of that inland waterway that goes up to Skagway. Skagway is at the end of it's almost like a fjord. Okay, that's enough of the chatter, and we taking off 3-4. We're going to land. I think two is northerly. We're heading northerly, so we just make a slight right turn if we can get this thing down. And what, okay, we're going to hit fly, and we're not going into 747. This is just booting up. Got to boot up. That takes just a little while. So they built, they had people that were trying to get up to Dawson, which is up on the Yukon River. Yukon River flows north till you get up to Fairbanks, and Yukon goes north
Seattle
at Fairbanks, and then it starts
Alpha,
going
Sierra
west.
Delta, Kilo Sierra ready for departure to the north at runway 34 right.
So we're heading
Experimental Alpha Sierra Delta
north.
Kilo Sierra wind calm north departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 34
The
right.
famous Darkstar.
Cleared
So
for
we
takeoff
can
runway
go
34 right. Experimental
Mach
Delta Kilo Sierra.
9 plus. And we're going to go up by stages. This is not a real airplane, but they did a mock-up for the Tom Cruise movie, the Top Gun 2 movie. He was supposedly flying this machine, and they have a life-size mock-up of it, and he supposedly got up to Mach 10, you can get this up to Mach 10 on the simulator, but it's a workout. It's not realistic. So I don't get that excited. So ready to fly, and we got it. This last time I flew to LA, I forgot to click this on. So that's there's our route of flight. So then we click on the battery thing, and we've got. I think we got to do active pause because we're going to go up on the throttle. Let's see if it's moving. No, it's not moving. So we get that fired up, and then we have to turn on the afterburners. So we go afterburners, and then we get it up to Mach 3 point something, and the scramjets kick in. The scramjets will take us up to Mach 9. We'll keep track of our distance. It says it's 855 nautical miles to Skagway. So we're ready to go. Let's go outside. And I got a little housekeeping to do here with my rinky-dink flight simulator. There we go. So this clicks back and forth, and then we can click sideways and back, looking back at it. All of that works. It's through a miracle. So we're sitting on full throttle, and we come back up here to take off the active pause, and away we go. And we got to take off the brakes, or it won't get off the ground. So we go ahead and pull back, and we get the landing gear up. And I think we gotta
Experimental
go.
Delta Kilo Sierra, continue for north departure. Experimental Delta Kilo Sierra, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay, here we go. We're coming around left. We'll say goodbye to the air traffic control.
Seattle Tower Experimental Alpha Sierra Delta Kilo Sierra frequency change.
There's downtown Seattle right under us. I don't know whether we'll see the Space Needle, but where the ship departed from, I'm not sure about that, but maybe somewhere along in there that they rode up to Skagway. We'll get rid of this. And let's see, what are we doing? Oh, so we need to get through the sound barrier here. So we'll just hold it down for a minute. There. We just got through the sound barrier, so now we'll pull the nose back up. And it will accelerate. So we'll say goodbye to the harbor. Let's see if we see the Space Needle. Space Needle would be right back there. I think this is called the Evergreen Bridge going over to the suburbs. Okay, now we're going to go back right here and get on this side. And what do we do? Mach 1.25. We're climbing it. We're going to climb it at about 10,000 feet a minute. And when we get up to about 30,000 and up to Mach 3. The scramjets will kick in, and that'll take us on up to Mach 9 plus. Yeah, Mach 1.5. Mach 1.7. We're losing a little altitude. Get back on the tail here. Let's see if we, yeah. So we'll get up here to parts of Canada. Okay, 23,000 feet, Mach 2 point. So we'll be kicking in the scramjets here shortly. Mach 3, so it should kick in here any minute. Yeah, here. So the doors are closing for the turbojets. The turbojets will shut down. There goes the scramjets. Now that we're looking here in these turbojets, you see those are shutting down. So now we're on scramjet, and that'll really get us ripping along here. Likes to be at a little higher altitude. It'll smooth out at 40,000 plus. There it goes. And we'll look over this way. And not sure of where Vancouver is, but this could be Vancouver along in here. And then we go right up to Alaska. 70,000 feet. We want to get up to 100,000 feet. Mach 7. And looking right down here, we see Mach 7. There's 90,000, so we'll get back on the tail and get this holding 100,000 feet. There's Mach 9.6. Mach 9.8. Mach 9.9. We're at 100,000 feet. And then we can do the little trick here, and we'll look back towards Seattle. See the stars coming out. So we can just barely see the lights of Seattle back there. So we'll look up at see, we came down to 91,000 feet. So when we don't stay at 100, now we're down at well, just Mach 9 even, and we're shooting up to 100,000 feet again. And that's enough of that business. We'll get back to daylight. Yeah, we like seeing the moon. And we need to get over a little bit. We got to get on course. And you can kind of see the shoreline way over there. That's where the inland, you got some inland waterway there. And we could look at our chart here to see how far off course we are. There we go. Here, get back at it. That should do it. Do it here. And just south of Skagway is Glacier Bay, just south of Skagway. This might be Glacier Bay right in here. Anyway, we'll keep seeing how we're doing our course. We're getting a little high in our altitude, but that doesn't matter. Nobody's up here with us. it's all simulated. We're looking out of the coast over here, and we'll get back in on course. We're staying pretty close to Mach 9, so we'll be close to doing it on our schedule. We'll see how our distance is doing here. So we're at 322 miles left to go. You can see the ocean out here to the left. This is how we can keep it level, by looking at our artificial horizon right there. See, we're slightly nose low, so we're going down. But I think we're 97,000 feet, so we're in pretty good shape. Pretty good shape. And a lot of high mountains in here, snow-capped. And we'll look here and see how we're doing on our course. Yeah, we're to our course. We've crossed over our course, but I didn't see it happen, so we need to bring it back to the right. And we got to go look inside again. And we're at 180. When we get down to close to 100 nautical miles, you can see the waterways coming in. And that's how we get to Skagway if we're on a ship. And we can let it stay down. We don't have to get back up to 100,000 feet. But I think there's a little town of Haines as you go up in here. And we'll go back to our chart. Yeah, so we'll follow one of these little. And I think we're pretty good. It's kind of a little bit to our right, but we want to stay out here because we're going to follow this fjord, or whatever you want to call it, right up there to Skagway. And then you can see out here, actually you're going to see Glacier Bay somewhere along in there. We're probably going by Glacier Bay. That could be right in there. It could be Glacier Bay. And then we can see this inlet going up right now. And what we need to do is we need to turn the scramjet off. Yeah, we're going to go right by it. And it goes just to the right here. They had both ways were covered. We have to go right up in here is where Skagway is, right there. And I don't think we can. That the runway is so short there in Skagway. But look at what they, in order to get to the Yukon River. So this is Skagway right down there. And then once you got there, you had two ways you could go, this way or this way. And where the Yukon River is, I don't know, you pick that up in here. But I think the town of Skagway goes up this little pass right here. We'll just keep it coming around. Yeah, we might try. Put it down in the water. Okay, let's see where the okay, we're back down to Mach 5. And we'll go over this way a little bit. Now look at the color of this lake here. Okay, take the brakes off, come up on some power. Put the wheels down. Haven't seen the runway yet. Pretty area. Probably goes right out to the ocean almost. I think I kind of see a runway going off to the right a little bit. Yep. Just made it. Just made it. I kind of like this spot right here. This is pretty. This is pretty. Okay. So we made it to Skagway, and we'll take a look around. Here we go. We'll look back from whence we came, back up in there with the porpoise. Didn't have this runoff. I don't know how it would have made it. Anyway, here's probably an old fishing fish processing. Really prettier than I thought. So where the ships tie up, I have no idea. So let's get back inside here. We gotta turn off the engines. There we go. Back outside. There we go. We'll go right here. Yeah. We'll go right like, yeah, about right there. That's pretty. Okay, so that's your Seattle to Skagway in the Darkstar. And we just made it by the skin of our teeth. And I don't see any stampeders. But you can read about stampeders, and you're going to have to Google it. Thanks for riding along. Enjoyed myself tremendously. Yeah, that's kind of a pretty picture right there. The mock-up had the skunk works, had the little skunk on the tail on the mock-up of this airplane. But it's not a real airplane. But they've got scramjets that are real, but not with pilots in them. And they do go. I think they've gotten a scramjet up to about 4,500 miles per hour, and that's about what the F-15, the rocket plane that would. I think the rocket plane went up above 100,000 feet. So this is a little bit like a rocket plane, but it's not a rocket. It's a turbojet with afterburners, and then a scramjet, which is a ramjet modified to fly supersonic, because the original ramjet was a subsonic jet. Okay, enough of that. Thanks for riding along, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.